Indochino is the world's most exciting made-to-measure men's warehouse company. Unparalleled fit and comfort with suits and shirts made to your exact measurements in a wide selection of high-quality fabrics and colors. Get any premium Indochino suit for just $359 at Indochino.com when entering HQ at checkout. That's Indochino.com, promo code HQ for any premium suit for just $359 and free shipping. Indochino is also expanding into casual clothing. Your made-to-measure chinos at an introductory price of $79.
Welcome to Highly Questionable. I'm Izzy Gutierrez, here because Dan decided to taste tequila in the middle of the afternoon. This is his father, Gonzalo. That's Frank Isola. Frank, what do you like on the show today?
Well, we know the NBA is all about drama. Guess who's providing this drama today? The old commissioner of all people.
Let's do this, Bobby.
Is everything all good in LA now that the Lakers got a win?
Well, no, it's not okay. They're 1-3, but the Lakers did get a W, finally going into Phoenix and winning and scoring 131 points. And yeah, maybe everything's a little bit better, but the reason they say they won is because Luke Walton got really mad earlier in the day, and he hasn't even seen the worst of Lance Stevenson yet. We're talking 3 games in, and Luke Walton is already this upset. But did this win do anything? No. It was against the Phoenix Suns. It was with a career performance from JaVale McGee. You have an efficient performance from Lance Stevenson. But again, to remind you, it was at Phoenix. This schedule is not going to be this easy for the Lakers all the way around. In fact, coming up, they've got 3 games that could find them at 1-6, and then everybody will really be freaking out.
Hey, Luke Walton had every reason to be upset. Las Vegas is already saying he's going to be the first coach that gets fired. We know that he came out after the loss to Houston, was complaining about the officiating, got fined for it. You know why he got fined? He wanted to show LeBron James that he has his back. That was the best $15,000 that Luke Walton has ever lost to the NBA. They needed the win because we know tonight they get Denver. Denver is rested, undefeated, and looking more and more like a playoff team. The Lakers, they got a little bit of work ahead of them.
I will say this. It's becoming very obvious that Rajon Rondo is going to be very important to this team, not only because of his defense and what he brings as leadership, but just for depth on this team and somebody who knows what it means to win, because LeBron can't be the only guy.
Oh, LA got lucky last night, buddy, because Devin Booker, he had to leave the game in the third quarter with only 20 points down. If he had to stay the third quarter and the fourth quarter, it would have been a different ball game for these Lakers.
I mean, that guy scored 70. He could probably do that on the Lakers too, right, with that defense.
Lakers only would have won by 5 if Devin Booker had stayed in.
Could Steph Curry actually be better than ever?
Short answer, absolutely. And here, if you look at the arc of his career, from 2012 on, basically when he got his ankle problems fixed, if you look at his stats, the 3-point attempts go up every year. They go up dramatically from the first MVP year to the second, where he shot 11-plus threes a game. That was the arc that was supposed to continue. He was supposed to be a guy that put up as many shots as possible from distance because he's that good at it. Well, then they had the 1 year where he got hurt and they brought KD in. That 1 year that he's going to let Kevin Durant get acclimated to the team, not really going to do everything that he can do. Last year was supposed to be the year where Steph got back on track, where he became MVP Steph again. Just the ankle injuries reappeared and he couldn't overcome that. This is the year. If you look at his numbers, he's going to shoot 11, 12 three-pointers a game. And if he's going to do it at anywhere near the efficiency that he's at now, his effective field goal percentage, 70%, yes, he can put up these numbers pretty much the entire year and win another MVP. It doesn't seem like Kevin Durant really wants a regular season MVP. Not going to do enough to take it away from Steph.
Steph Curry is already averaging 34 points. He's shooting 55% from the field, 52% on threes. It's almost like he's telling everyone, yes, we know all about Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis. They're great players. I'm a 2-time MVP who missed a lot of time. He only played 51 games last year, and he needs something to motivate him, to get him through the regular season and into the playoffs. And just remember this, everyone. If he wins a title, that gives him the most championships out of anybody ever born in Akron. That makes Steph Curry the king of Akron. Should get a tattoo across his chest.
I will say this all makes all the sense in the world, right? He was getting better and better. His team was getting better and better. Enter Kevin Durant. This is the best team he's ever played on. So if he's healthy, why wouldn't it be the best year he's ever had?
Man, LeBron, I'm sure that he saw those numbers and he's saying, well, what the hell I'm doing here? I'm wasting my time, playing here, I mean, I should stop playing right now. I don't got a chance,
That hand's going to start hurting real soon.
Oh, yeah.
Just enough to make a movie, though.
Hey, but he'll be off in June this time, as opposed to working into June.
Did David Stern do Dell Demps dirty?
Well, again, another short answer. Yeah, he did. If you haven't read it, there's a Sports Illustrated story by Chris Ballard catching up with the ex-commissioner of the NBA. And among the things discussed was that Knicks trade between the Hornets and the LA Lakers that would have sent Chris Paul to LA. Well, he says in this story that Dell Demps is a lousy general manager and he's going to lose Anthony Davis. Whew, don't do the league any favors there, David Stern. But here, I will defend Dell Demps in this way. I think he's done a phenomenal job with what he's got to work with. First of all, it's obvious New Orleans is not a destination for other NBA players. So to even have Anthony Davis stay there and not demand a trade through his 7th season is an accomplishment. And then on top of that, piecing the parts around him, getting a Boogie Cousins, who if he would have been healthy, they would have had 2 guys with MVP-type numbers by the end of that season, and who knows what they could have done in the playoffs. You lose Boogie Cousins, you lose Rajon Rondo, you sign an Elfrid Payton who's sort of like Rondo Light and a Julius Randle, and all of a sudden you still look like a top 4 seed in the Western Conference when nobody gave you a chance. Dell Demps is not a lousy GM. Dell Demps is doing a heck of a job right now.
When I read this story, I thought about one person, Adam Silver. Think about how awkward it must be for him. David Stern is his mentor, his friend, his former boss. And as a commissioner, you go through a season, you're going to put out brush fires all over the league. Whether it's a fight in L.A. between the Rockets and the Lakers, whether it's some Mark Cuban situation. The last thing you expect to be doing is putting out a brush fire started by David Stern. And I understand David Stern wants to defend himself with the trade because he's getting tired of Laker fans all over the place. Now, how come he didn't trade Chris Paul? That's fine. Defend yourself. Why do you have to say that about Dell Demps, who comes from the Spurs organization, spent a little time with the Knicks, has been a professional guy, keeps his mouth shut? This was not a good look for David Stern. And remember what the New Orleans Pelicans said in their statement. They had a little compliment about Adam Silver in there, about a progressive and innovative commissioner. That was their little dig back at David Stern, who I'm sure this morning does not feel so good.
You can pay attention to old people. We just sit around and talk.
I mean, that is so true. Tell me that wasn't the first thing you thought when you read that story about David Stern.
Do we all owe David Price an apology?
I don't know who this we is, but I don't remember going in on David Price. But this is one of Dan's favorite subjects. Since he's not here, I'll speak for him. We tell somebody he's a choker until he doesn't choke anymore, and then we just forget about it and move on to somebody else. And so it feels like we're moving on from David Price because his last 3 outings had resulted in good things for his team, never mind the 10 before that resulting in losses. So I just think this is a situation where David Price is comfortable. He talks about it all the time. He even said after last night's win that he feels a little lighter, as was suggested by a reporter. It's not as much pressure on him anymore. And of course there's not that much pressure. He's not at the top of the rotation. You're not asking him to be absolutely a shutdown starter in the postseason. And you've got a tremendous team behind you that's going to be favorites to finish this off. So in a pressure-free situation, David Price performed. I don't think we owe him an apology. It's just his time.
No one's going to apologize to David Price. He got $217 million. You're going to be held to a different standard, and he had not come through before in the postseason. But if you go back to that Game 5 against Houston, I get it, the day before he said he felt good in his bullpen session, and maybe that helped him in the start. It was also, for lack of a better term, in the playoffs, not that much of a pressure start. If he doesn't win that, there's still Game 6 and 7 at Fenway. And then I thought last night he was tremendous. So he's won his last 2 starts. Here's what we'll find out about David Price. If the Dodgers could come back and we see David Price again in this series, that's going to be a pressure situation. He's been great, but there still might be one more big start left in David Price.
It probably also helps that he's the 2nd biggest reputed choker in this series.
Wow. Though you're so
Maybe.
That's all the analysis you need in all of Major League Baseball right now. It's true.
Do you see Darius Bazley starting a trend among top prospects?
All right, here's what you need to know about Darius Bazley if you don't already. ESPN ranks him as the 13th best prospect in high school. He committed to Syracuse originally, then decommitted, has signed with Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, that's LeBron James' agency, and has a $1 million internship with New Balance. It's an incentivized deal that can get him more money as the years goes on. Now, here's what's interesting. It is a loophole in the one-and-done situation. Does not have to go to college, does not have to go overseas, can stay at home. Doesn't really have anybody to play against. That's some of the things that they have to really work out here. But it is intriguing when you've got LeBron James's agency getting these high school kids not having to go to college and getting them along with their career, him finding a loophole. Rich Paul says it is a broken system, and this is one of the reasons why we have to find these types of loopholes. It's absolutely true. We should go back to letting kids come out of high school directly into the pros, and it could take situations like this, people finding loopholes for the league and the NCAA to finally say, you know what, whatever, let's go back to the old way.
For all you college kids earning minimum wage for your internship, let me be the first to say you're a slacker compared to Darius Baisley. Here's what bothers me about it. If you go to, say, for example, Duke, you're getting high-level coaching and you're playing against good competition. So unless the lunchtime run at New Balance is that good, is he really going to develop as a player? Absolutely. Financially, knock yourself out. It's $1 million. You can do a lot worse than that. My big thing will be, are you going to get better as a player? And the subplot to this whole thing is Jim Boeheim calling out LeBron, saying LeBron did a good job for his client. LeBron going back at Jim Boeheim. By the way, they were together during the Olympics. And